My child, stop what you are doing now, because what you are hearing is not by chance or coincidence. This is my voice speaking directly to you. I have waited for this moment with you because I know your heart has reached the right place of maturity, the right level of sensitivity to receive what I am about to give you. I call to you urgently because what I am revealing cannot be delayed. What you are receiving today carries eternal weight and was prepared for you long ago. No matter where you are or what you are facing, I am drawing near now to show you that everything in your journey has had a purpose. Nothing has escaped my notice. Every tear was counted, every silent moment recorded, and every hidden cry from deep within your heart has been written in my books. I need you to pay close attention. Do not treat these words like background noise. I am breathing life into you to open the ears of your spirit. I don't want you to be distracted thinking about what comes next. I just want you to stop and truly listen to me. What I am about to give you now will be the key to unlock doors that once seemed impossible. What you felt trapped inside you will begin to move. I saw the times when you searched for signs in silence, the moments when you asked for answers through tears no one saw. And here is your confirmation. I am with you, and I have prepared something wonderful for your life. I know there have been times when you felt alone, when you thought you were forgotten, when you wondered if your prayers were even heard. Today, I tell you that not only have your prayers reached me, they have been answered. Your time of waiting had direction. The silence you felt was my preparation behind the scenes. While you thought nothing was happening, I was creating paths that you couldn't see. Every delay had a purpose. Every moment of waiting was an adjustment so that when it arrived, it would be perfect for your destiny. This is the moment of your awakening, the moment of your realignment with me. It is the time to understand that you were never left behind. Take a deep breath now and feel my presence surrounding you. Let the rhythm of your body and soul come together in harmony with my peace. Every beat of your heart is a reminder that there is still a path and a promise ahead of you. I was there when you thought about giving up. I held you when your strength ran out. I lifted you when no one else saw your pain. I not only remember your failures, but also remember your efforts, the nights you endured, the small acts of faith no one noticed. I want you to know that nothing you've gone through has been wasted. What you thought was an end was really the preparation for a new beginning. The painful losses, the doors that closed, the dreams that seemed delayed, these were all part of the process of refining you. Where there was suffering, I planted a seed. Where there was silence, I kept my promise. These seeds are now starting to grow within you. You will feel a new kind of restlessness, an inner strength you never knew you had. The things that once felt out of place will start to fall into place in ways you can't explain. Do not fear your memories, do not push them away. They are not chains, but lessons that carry purpose. There is an invisible legacy in your life that is not lost with time or death. Someone loved you deeply, and that love was offered to me. Today, I return that legacy to you because true love never dies. It transforms into wisdom, direction, and strength. What seemed absent will take form. The gifts that were dormant will begin to stir. Doors will open so you can fulfill what was set before you. Then your heart heal. Let hope rise in you once again. Do not carry guilt that you can release. Do not live under the weight of things left unsaid. Instead, answer the call I give you now. Open your hands, open your eyes, open your life to the new things I bring. By listening to my voice, heaven works on your behalf. By believing, angels move. By surrendering to my guidance, I act in ways you can't even imagine. Breathe deeply once again, for this is just the beginning of something extraordinary. Beloved child, listen closely, for I am about to reveal a secret hidden within your own story. There was someone in your life who touched you with love, care, and their presence. This person didn't leave behind just memories. They left an invisible legacy that is not lost with time nor faded by death. This legacy isn't made up of material things like papers or possessions, but of spiritual seeds I've kept in my altar so that they may now bloom within you. Every act of love, every simple piece of advice, every kind word they spoke was recorded before me. Even when this person seemed weak, they rose up to pray for you, placing your name in my hands, asking for protection, for a future, and for a full life. I heard every cry. No prayer was ever wasted. No tear fell without meaning. I gathered each prayer and kept them as living seeds to sprout in their perfect time. A time has now come. You might think that what you carry today is just the result of your own experiences, but it's more than that. Many of the gifts, the wisdom, and the strengths that began to show in you after their departure are all part of this legacy. The courage you didn't know you had, the wisdom in moments of unexpected decisions, the intuition that guided you away from the wrong paths, these are all signs that the legacy is alive in you. It's not by accident or chance, it's continuity. It's love transformed into purpose. Think back to the last conversation, the last glance, the silent hug that stayed in your heart. It may have seemed like a simple goodbye, but it was so much more than that. In every gesture, there was prophecy. In every word, there was a promise being sealed. Do not look down on these memories, for within them, I have hidden signs that now guide your steps. When I speak of legacy, I'm not just speaking of memories, I'm speaking of a silent voice that still speaks to you and leads your way. You are not alone. The bond created by true love was not broken by death. It simply changed form. The one who loved you is still with you, now living in the seeds that are beginning to bloom in your life. I am the God who turns memories into legacies, tears into promises, and absence into destiny. Today, I confirm to you that nothing hath been lost, and nothing was in vain. Everything that seemed to fade away was simply waiting for the right time to bloom. So, receive this revelation into your spirit. You carry marks that are not just scars, but signs of continuity. You are the answer to prayers made long ago, the harvest of intercessions filled with love and sorrow, the continuation of a legacy that didn't end with their departure, but now continues in you. Hold this truth in your heart. What started with love now lives in you as a mission. Beloved child, I want you to clearly understand what I am activating in you right now. What seemed like a simple memory yesterday is now moving like a living force in your heart. What was quietly sown, watered with tears, and kept in my altar has now matured. The inheritance is no longer buried like a seed underground. It has sprouted, like branches pushing through the soil toward the light. I breathe life into you so that you see that the legacy is not just a fond memory, but a path you are meant to walk. The gifts that have begun to show up are not random. They belong to the new foundation I am building in you. The wisdom that comes to you in moments of decision didn't appear by chance. The courage you find when everything tells you to give up is not blind impulse, it is from me. The intuition that guides you away from the wrong paths is a light I set in you. I call it a mantle because it covers you, identifies you, and pushes you forward. Receive this as both a responsibility and a privilege. Nothing has been lost along the way. The farewell that broke your heart did not end your story, it only changed the way it continues. The love you received through human hands was gathered by me and returned to you as spiritual provision. Time did not erase the truth. It simply polished it, making it shine when its moment arrived. And that moment is now. I lift you up as a living continuation of what began in love. You will begin to see clear signs of this transfer. The right words will come when someone near you is falling apart. Compassion will help you look beyond the surface and heal wounds without making them worse. Discernment will help you hear the truth through the noise, understand what is urgent versus what is truly important, and choose the right path over shortcuts. You will see doors that have remained closed start to open, as though an invisible key has turned inside them. This key is the legacy working on your behalf. Do not underestimate what I place in your hands. Small acts of obedience will open great doors. A timely phone call, a visit you choose to make even when it's not convenient, a forgiveness offered when the pain is still fresh. Each of these sets powerful forces into motion. The inheritance I give you is meant to multiply. What is small in my hands is never small. With consistency, the seed becomes the harvest. With faithfulness, the quiet murmur becomes a rushing river. Use the gifts I've given you. Make room for the silence that aligns you, for the prayer that grounds you, for the words that sharpen you, and for the service that matures you. I will give you a rhythm so you don't lose your way in the rush of life. You will learn to say no to things that drain you and yes to the things that support your mission. You will adjust your habits, taking care of your body as a temple and your mind as a garden, because your inheritance needs fertile soil to grow. If doubt tries to whisper that you are not capable, remember where I have brought you from and how many times I have lifted you up. If comparison tries to hold you back, remember that I didn't create you to follow in others' footsteps, but to live out your own story. Break free from old labels. Let go of any silent promises you made to guilt. I didn't give you a mantle to hide in. I clothed you to walk in the light. What you lacked in strength, I filled with grace. What you lacked in direction, I provide with counsel. I place guards around the promise so that it cannot be stolen by fear, haste, or exhaustion. With each step, I examine your motives and align your heart so that the gift I've given you becomes a service, not a spectacle. The legacy you carry holds the weight of glory, and where there is glory, there is also humility. Learn to celebrate without pride, to move forward without rushing, to rest without quitting. In this way, the mantle remains light upon your shoulders. Now, I ask you for a clear act of faith. Connect with this message in your heart and confirm with your hands what you have received. Embrace this video as if you are sealing in your spirit what you know is true. Subscribe to stay under this protection and continue receiving the guidance you need at the right time. I am not asking you to do a favor for the channel. I am inviting you to take part in a prophetic act. When you move with faith, I open doors that no human effort can open. Breathe deeply and notice that change is already happening inside you. The pieces are starting to fit together, and what once seemed unclear is now coming into focus. Take this awareness into your relationships, your work, and your home. The legacy I trust to you is not just for you, it is light for many. Soon, I will bring back old questions you've kept hidden. Bring them to me, for I will answer them personally. Walk with me into the next chapter, where your heart will find meaning in what has long seemed unanswered. My son, I know every question that has risen in your heart since the day you felt the loss of that precious life. I heard your silent cry. I heard your soul asking, why did this happen? Where are they now? Do you hear me? You still think of me. I know every thought that visited you in the quiet of the early morning when longing seemed to weigh heavy on your chest. Today, I answer you directly, not with human explanations, but with the truth that only heaven can reveal. Nothing was in vain, nothing was lost. Nothing happened outside of my knowledge. The time that person had on earth was completed, but the mission that began in love is still alive in you. Son, I saw you looking into the emptiness, thinking you, too, would remain empty forever. I was there when the memories brought pain but no comfort. I saw you wish you could go back, change things, or avoid the pain of the parting. But I want you to understand now, nothing could disrupt the perfect plan I created. Even what feels like an irreversible loss carries seeds that will bloom in their time. The goodbye you thought was final opened a doorway to a new cycle, and that cycle is now unfolding within you. You've often asked me, are you still near? Have you left me alone? And I tell you, no, you have not been abandoned. True love never dies, it only shifts in form. The bond that was built with tears, kindness, and sacrifices was seen by me. That is why I tell you, the life that touched you remains as a legacy, as intercession, as a spiritual inheritance. The longing you feel is a sign that love is still alive, and this love now shows itself in the gifts, courage, and purpose that are blooming inside you. You thought you were only carrying memories, but in truth, you are carrying a calling. You thought you were only carrying memories, but in truth, you are carrying a mission. Before leaving, that life placed your name before me, entrusted your days to my care, and asked me not to leave you alone. I wrote down every prayer, every quiet request, and every hidden tear. Now I am showing you that the answer to those prayers is you. You are the continuation of a work that is not finished. You are the bridge between what was planted and what is yet to grow. Beloved child, I don't want you to remain trapped in the questions that eat away at you. I want you to receive the answers that will set you free. Stop asking if you could have done things differently. That life's time was complete, and it was not for you to extend. What was in your hands was love, and that love was given, received, and sown. Now, what you carry is the legacy, and that legacy is meant to be lived, multiplied, and honored. Do not carry guilt, because this inheritance was never about your merits, but about my promise. I saw you when you felt unworthy to continue. I saw you when you said, I have no strength, I have no ability. Today, I tell you, do not focus on your weaknesses, because I chose you. From the moment you were conceived, I knew who you would become and what you would carry. Even before your birth, I prepared the path that would bring you here. You are not here by chance. You are part of an eternal plan. Your weakness doesn't surprise me, because it is in your fragility that my strength is perfected. Do not run from the call, because it is greater than the pain, stronger than the loss, and more enduring than the absence. Heir of heaven, it is time to realize that your life holds a purpose far beyond your choices. A spiritual lineage is unfolding through you, and the stories of faith, sacrifice, and surrender are now carried forward through your journey. When you look back and remember the presence of that person, remember that all the good they did not end with their passing. It was recorded before me. I take goodness and multiply it, turning it into direction. I take the seeds of love and transform them into fruits of purpose. You were not meant to live only in memory, but to live continuing the work they started. You are not meant to be stuck in what is gone, but to rise up because of what still remains. Do not cry as though you have lost everything, but let your tears water the promised land. Every tear that fell on your pillow was gathered by me and now nourishes the land of your mission. You were not abandoned by chance, but chosen to carry on what was begun. I am with you. Do not stray from this revelation. When nostalgia tries to take hold, remember that it is also fuel for your journey. When questions arise, remember that I have already provided the answers. When you try to understand why, remember that you do not need all the explanations to fulfill your purpose. Just know that you are in my hands and I will lift you up to continue. So, my child, accept this truth into your heart. A mission continues through you. The love you received did not end. It became your purpose. The pain you went through did not break you. It shaped you to carry the mantle. The absence is not empty. It is ascending. What seemed like an earthly ending was only the start of a heavenly cycle. You are living proof that my promises do not fail, and that what begins in love never truly fades. Now breathe deeply and let this certainty fill every part of you. What seemed to have ended is still in motion, and this movement flows through you. Receive it, accept it, and walk forward. I am your God, and I want you to know nothing was in vain, and nothing was lost. Everything continues within you, my child. Think back to that moment when it all seemed to end, the last conversation, the final look, the simple gesture that stayed in your memory. Maybe you thought it was just a goodbye filled with pain. But today, I tell you, every detail was a prophecy. Nothing happened by chance, nothing was empty. Every word unspoken carried eternal weight. Every tear that filled that person's eyes was a silent prayer offered before my throne. I was there, receiving every gesture, collecting every sigh, and turning it into a gift. The last time you saw that face was not just an ending, but the signing of a legacy. The silence in the room was more than just sorrow, it was confirmation. The broken heart cried for continuity, and that cry reached me. That's why I tell you now, that moment was a seed. What appeared to be a goodbye was, in truth, ascending. It was not a loss, but the passing of a mission. And that mission is now in your hands. When you think of that expression, that extended hand, that look that spoke more than words, you are facing a prophecy. Everything that seemed ordinary was actually heavenly. The one who left knew they couldn't finish it all, but they trusted that you would carry it on. I confirm this deep in your soul. Feel it now, because the echo of that moment still speaks in your spirit. You were never left alone. You were given an inheritance, a calling, a sacred responsibility. So, I sum it up in 3 words that I now speak over you. Live for me. Live with the passion that person dreamed of. Live with the purpose that was sealed by their prayers. Live not just to exist, but to leave behind traces of love, faith, and devotion. Live as proof that what begins with tears will end in harvest. Live because there is a promise that requires your voice, your hands, and your steps to come true. And I do not only call you to live, but I guarantee that I will provide for you. Doors will open before you, resources that were once held back will be released, and paths that seemed blocked will be made clear. I didn't just call you, I will sustain you. I didn't just give you a mission, I will provide for it. What seems stuck will start to move. You will see abundance where there was once lack. You will find answers where there was only silence. The harvest will come, not because you earned it, but because the prayer of the one who left was heard and answered. And now, my child, I ask you to take a clear step of faith. Just as that person trusted in me and prayed for you, today I invite you to seal this word. Write the number 777 with faith, because it is a sign that you receive the inheritance, that you accept the mission, and that you trust the doors I am opening for you. Every comment you make is like a prophetic action confirming your decision. It's not just writing, it's declaring in the visible what is already happening in the invisible. As you write, heaven begins to work. When you affirm with your words and your hands, I release answers, because faith isn't just a feeling, it's action. And when you take action, I respond. This is the moment of activation, the turning point between grief and purpose, between loss and what continues. What seemed like the end now rises again as a new beginning. Take a deep breath and let these 3 words sink into your spirit as an eternal seal. Live for me. Hold them in your heart. Repeat them when doubt tries to steal your peace. Speak them when fear tries to take control, because these words are the core of your legacy. Pain is not your final legacy, but the mission to live with faith, to walk with purpose, and to bloom in places you once thought were barren. My child, this is the turning point. You are no longer trapped by unanswered questions. Now you move toward the answers. You are no longer paralyzed by emptiness. Now you are driven by purpose. Live for me because there is so much more to live, to achieve, and to witness. Live because I called you, I equipped you, and I will sustain you. Live because the love that once seemed lost now grows inside you, strengthening you in ways you didn't expect. Live for me, and everything you thought was finished will now be the beginning of a new story. Beloved child, listen closely because I need you to understand something important before moving forward. Before I release the abundance of resources I have for you, before the financial doors open, before the miracles of provision show themselves, my care must first touch your heart. Because it's of no use to fill you with blessings if your inner being hasn't been restored. What good would a bountiful harvest be if your heart remains burdened, filled with guilt, and marked by wounds that haven't healed? That's why I say that true abundance starts within, in the quiet place of the soul, where I place peace that no money can buy. I have seen the weight you carried, thinking you could have done more, wondering if the departure of that person would have been different if it had been in your hands. I have seen how guilt silently visited you, like a shadow that never left. Today I say to you, release yourself from this lie. Nothing could have changed the time that was meant to end. You were not responsible for what happened, because every day was precious in my eyes. What seemed like injustice or failure was not by chance. It was a cycle that had to close so that another could begin. And this new cycle starts within you. I want to heal your memories. I want to touch the deep places where you held onto old hurts, where you buried unanswered questions. I want to show you that the absence you once grieved has now turned into ascending. I want you to know that you were never abandoned. From that moment, I took you in as the heir to a living promise. Everything you thought was lost is now transforming into purpose. You are not moving backward, you are moving forward. The earthly ending was not a final chapter, it was the opening to a new time. As you listen to my voice, heaven is already working. As your heart opens, the angels gather around you. As you breathe deeply and trust me, I begin to restore what was broken. The pain that once held you captive will no longer be a prison. It will become a testimony. What seemed like silence will now be heard as soft music. What looked like defeat will turn into the fuel for your victory. I am the God who takes broken pieces and creates something even more beautiful than before. My child, I tell you, nothing will ever be the same. Not because I will erase your history or your memories, but because I will give new meaning to everything you've gone through. The tears that once drowned you will now water the seeds that are growing within you. The absence that once paralyzed you will now drive you to act with greater compassion. The void that seemed to swallow you will now be filled with my presence. Everything you thought was an end, I will turn into a new beginning. Every earthly farewell becomes a part of a heavenly cycle. Now I ask you for something that will multiply the promise. Just as this word reached you, many others need to hear this same truth. Do not keep what sets you free to yourself. Share this message as an act of faith, as a channel of inheritance. By doing this, you won't just be sending a video, you'll be extending hope, offering comfort, and bringing to others what is starting to restore your own life today. Sharing is multiplying the seed and becoming a link in the chain that heaven is moving. When you share, your action is not small, it is prophetic. It is like opening a spiritual door for others to receive healing in their hearts. Many around you are carrying guilt, pain, and heavy memories that are holding them back. By sharing this word, you become an instrument for them to hear the truth. It was not an end. It was a new beginning. It was not abandonment. It was ascending. It was not silence. It was an answer. The same healing that is starting to manifest in you today will begin to grow in their lives. So breathe deeply and give the weight of your heart to me. Surrender the questions you could not answer. Surrender the knot that still tightens your soul. I will comfort you myself. I will pour balm over your wounds. I will turn your pain into purpose. And remember, you do not walk alone. Heaven stands with you, and the promise is still alive. What you thought was the end is only the beginning of a new phase marked by my presence.